Before the maps were redrawn, before foreign flags flew over African soil, there were women, powerful, brilliant, and fearless, who sat on thrones and shaped empires. Their names, whispered through oral traditions and carved into ancient stone, ruled kingdoms with wisdom, commanded armies, brokered peace, and expanded trade routes across deserts and oceans. Yet today, they are mostly forgotten. These women shattered the limits of their time. Their legacies tell stories of African matriarchy, leadership, resistance, and triumph, long before the arrival of colonial powers. This is a journey to rediscover the forgotten queens of Africa. Women who ruled not from behind the throne, but on the throne. 1. Queen Amina of Zazzau, 1533 to 1610. Queen Amina of Zazzau was a legendary Hausa warrior queen who ruled the city-state of Zazzau, modern-day Zaria in Nigeria, during the 16th century. She was born into royalty and trained from a young age in military and political leadership. Amina became famous for her boldness, strategic mind, and fierce military campaigns that expanded Zazzau's territory and influence across the Hausa lands and beyond. She was powerful because she transformed Zazzau into a dominant force in the region through warfare, diplomacy, and trade. Amina led a standing army of over 20,000 soldiers and personally commanded cavalry units into battle. She conquered vast territories stretching to the Niger River in the west and Cameroon in the southeast, making Zazzau a central hub in trans-Saharan trade. Queen Amina also focused on strengthening the kingdom's defenses. She ordered the construction of high, protective walls, called Amina's Walls, around cities, many of which still stand today. She ruled with authority and demanded loyalty, showing that women could lead just as fearlessly and effectively as men. Her legacy continues to inspire women across Africa as a symbol of leadership, courage, and strategic power in pre-colonial African history. 2nd, Queen Makeda, Queen of Sheba, 10th century. Queen Makeda, better known as the Queen of Sheba, is a legendary African monarch whose story is rooted in Ethiopian, biblical, and Arabian traditions. Believed to have ruled around the 10th century BCE, Makeda was queen of the wealthy and advanced kingdom of Sheba, often linked to present-day Ethiopia and Yemen. She is renowned for her intelligence, wisdom, and power. According to Ethiopian lore and the ancient text Kebra Nagast, Makeda traveled to Jerusalem after hearing of King Solomon's famed wisdom. She tested him with difficult questions, and the two engaged in deep discussions on philosophy, governance, and spirituality. Their encounter led to the birth of a son, Menelik VI, who later became the first emperor of the Ethiopian Solomonic dynasty. This lineage is said to have ruled Ethiopia for over 2,000 years, claiming descent from both Solomon and Makeda. Makeda ruled with strength and sophistication, overseeing a prosperous kingdom enriched by trade in gold, incense, spices, and precious stones. Her legacy lives on in Ethiopian tradition, where she is honored as the founding mother of the nation. Makeda remains a symbol of black female royalty, intellect, and diplomacy in African and world history. 3rd Queen Cleopatra VII. Queen Cleopatra VII, Philopator, was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt and one of the most iconic women in history. Born into a Greek Macedonian dynasty founded by Ptolemy I, a general of Alexander the Great, Cleopatra ruled Egypt during a time of political upheaval and growing Roman influence. Unlike her predecessors, Cleopatra embraced Egyptian culture. She was the first Ptolemaic ruler to learn and speak the Egyptian language, and portrayed herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Isis. Highly educated and multilingual, Cleopatra was a shrewd politician, skilled in diplomacy, economics, and governance. Her rise to power was marked by internal dynastic struggles. She co-ruled with her younger brother Ptolemy XIII, but was forced into exile. Her fortunes reversed when she aligned herself with Julius Caesar, who helped restore her throne. Cleopatra later formed a powerful political and romantic alliance with Mark Antony, one of Rome's top generals, with whom she had 3 children. Their union was seen as a threat by Octavian, later Emperor Augustus, leading to the famous Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. After their defeat, Cleopatra and Antony died by suicide, and Egypt became a Roman province. Cleopatra's reign marked the end of the Hellenistic Age and the beginning of Roman rule in Egypt. Despite Roman propaganda portraying her as manipulative and dangerous, modern historians recognize her as an intelligent and capable ruler who fought to preserve her nation's independence. Her legacy endures through literature, film, and historical debate. Cleopatra remains a symbol of female power, political acumen, and cultural fusion, an African queen who stood against the might of Rome with wit, charm, and strategy. 4. Queen Nzinga Mbande, Kingdom of Ndongo and Matamba, 1583 to 1663. Queen Nzinga Mbande was one of Africa's most formidable and resilient leaders. She ruled over the kingdoms of Ndongo and Matamba, located in present-day Angola. During a time of intense conflict with Portuguese colonial forces, Nzinga is remembered not just for her strategic brilliance in warfare and diplomacy, but also for her fierce resistance to slavery and European domination. Born into royalty, Nzinga was well-educated and trained in statecraft and military tactics. She first came to prominence in 1622 when she acted as an emissary for her brother, the King of Ndongo, in negotiations with the Portuguese. During these talks, she famously refused to sit on the floor in the presence of the Portuguese governor, ordering a servant to kneel and act as her chair, asserting her equality. After her brother's death, Nzinga seized the throne and declared herself queen. She immediately launched a decades-long resistance against Portuguese expansion and the transatlantic slave trade. Nzinga formed alliances with other African kingdoms and even cooperated with the Dutch, Portugal's European rivals, to strengthen her position. She later relocated her base of power to the Kingdom of Matamba, which she turned into a strong military and trading hub. Nzinga employed guerrilla warfare, diplomatic marriages, and clever negotiations to sustain her kingdom's independence for over 30 years. Queen Nzinga ruled until her death at age 80, leaving behind a powerful legacy of defiance, resilience, and leadership. She is celebrated today as a national heroine in Angola and a symbol of African resistance against colonialism and the slave trade. Her life challenges traditional gender roles and exemplifies how African women exercised political and military power long before and during the colonial era. Femte Kandake Amanirenas, Kush. Kandake Amanirenas was a powerful queen and military leader of the ancient kingdom of Kush, in present-day Sudan, who ruled from around 40 BCE to 10 BCE. She is one of the most celebrated Kandakes, a title for queens or queen mothers in Kushite culture. Known for her fearless resistance against the Roman Empire, one of the most powerful empires in history. After the Roman conquest of Egypt in 30 BCE, Emperor Augustus sought to expand further south into Nubia. However, Queen Amanirenas refused to submit. In 24 BCE, she led a Kushite army in a surprise invasion of Roman-controlled Egypt, capturing cities such as Siene, Aswan, and Philae, and even toppling statues of Augustus, symbolically defying Rome's authority. Though the Romans retaliated with a counterattack, Amanirenas again showed remarkable strength and resilience. Despite being blinded in one eye during battle, she continued to lead her forces with unmatched courage. Eventually, both sides agreed to a peace treaty, which was surprisingly favorable to Kush. The Romans withdrew from some occupied territories and did not demand tribute, a rare concession in Rome's imperial history. Amanirenas' leadership was remarkable not only for her military victories, but also for preserving the sovereignty of her kingdom. She defied both gender norms and imperial power, becoming a symbol of resistance and African dignity. Today, Kandake Amanirenas is honored as one of the greatest female military leaders of ancient Africa. Her bravery and diplomatic skill ensured that the Kingdom of Kush remained independent for centuries after her death. And her story challenges the idea that Rome was invincible, proving that African queens were formidable on both the battlefield and the political stage. 6. Queen Pokou, Ashanti Empire. Queen Pokou was a revered 18th century African monarch and the founding mother of the Baule people in present-day Ivory Coast. Originally a princess of the powerful Ashanti Empire in what is now Ghana, she became queen of a breakaway faction during a time of civil unrest and succession disputes within the Ashanti royal family. Faced with rising tensions and internal conflicts, Queen Pokou chose to lead her loyal followers westward in search of peace and stability. During this difficult migration, her people encountered the Komoi River, a massive and dangerous barrier they could not cross. According to oral tradition, the river refused to part, and the priests declared that a great sacrifice was needed. In an ultimate act of devotion to her people, Queen Pokou sacrificed her only son, throwing him into the river. After the sacrifice, legend says the waters parted, allowing her people to cross safely. Overcome with grief, Pokou is said to have cried out, "Bauli," meaning, "the child is dead" in the Akan language, from which the name Baule is derived. After crossing, she established a new kingdom, laying the foundation for what would become one of the largest and most influential ethnic groups in Ivory Coast. Queen Pokou is remembered as a symbol of selfless leadership, courage, and sacrifice. Her story is central to Baule identity and highlights the emotional weight of leadership, especially for women who defied traditional roles to lead their people through hardship and into a new era. 7. Queen Nefertiti, Ancient Egypt. Queen Nefertiti was one of ancient Egypt's most famous and enigmatic queens. She was the great royal wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, who ruled during the 18th dynasty, a period known for profound religious and cultural changes. Nefertiti's name means, "the beautiful one has come," reflecting her renowned beauty, but her significance goes far beyond her looks. Nefertiti played a pivotal role in Akhenaten's radical religious revolution, which replaced the traditional Egyptian pantheon with the worship of a single deity, the sun disk Aten. She stood beside her husband as co-regent, participating actively in religious ceremonies and state affairs, an unusual level of power for a queen at the time. Some historians speculate she may have ruled briefly as pharaoh after Akhenaten's death, possibly under the name Nefertiti, though this remains debated. Her iconic bust, discovered in 1912 at Amina, and now housed in Berlin's Neues Museum, has made her one of the most recognizable figures from ancient Egypt. This masterpiece captures her refined features and regal bearing, symbolizing the elegance and artistry of her era. Nefertiti's reign is also notable for the flourishing of Amarna art, which broke from traditional Egyptian styles to depict more naturalistic and expressive forms. This art revolution reflected the broader cultural shifts of Akhenaten's rule. Despite her prominence, Nefertiti mysteriously disappears from historical records after about 12 years of reign, leading to speculation about her fate, whether she died, was exiled, or ruled as a hidden pharaoh. Queen Nefertiti remains a symbol of beauty, power, and religious transformation in ancient Egypt. Her legacy endures in art, history, and popular culture as one of the most powerful and captivating women of the ancient world. 8. Queen Hatshepsut, Ancient Egypt, 1507 to 1458 BCE. Queen Hatshepsut was one of ancient Egypt's most remarkable and successful rulers, serving as pharaoh during the 18th dynasty. Unlike most female figures in Egyptian history who were queen's consort or regents, Hatshepsut declared herself king and ruled Egypt for over 2 decades, an extraordinary achievement in a male-dominated society. Born into the royal family, Hatshepsut was the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I and married her half-brother, Thutmose II. After his death, the throne passed to her stepson Thutmose III, who was still a child. Instead of acting merely as regent, Hatshepsut took full power as pharaoh, adopting the traditional symbols of kingship, including the false beard, and presenting herself as a male ruler in statues and reliefs to legitimize her reign. Her rule is noted for its unprecedented peace and prosperity. Hatshepsut focused on monumental architecture, commissioning some of Egypt's most famous structures, including her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, which remains an architectural marvel. She also revitalized trade networks, famously sending an expedition to the land of Punt, which brought back valuable goods like gold, incense, and exotic animals, boosting Egypt's economy. Hatshepsut's reign challenged gender norms and proved that women could wield power as effectively as men. However, after her death, much of her legacy was deliberately erased by Thutmose III, possibly to reassert traditional male rule. Today, Hatshepsut is celebrated as a visionary leader who combined political savvy, religious devotion, and cultural innovation. Her life and reign continue to inspire as a powerful example of female leadership in ancient history, highlighting how she carved her place among Egypt's greatest pharaohs despite societal constraints. 9. Queen Tiye, Egypt, 14th century BCE. Queen Tiye was one of ancient Egypt's most influential queens, known for her extraordinary political power and influence during the 18th dynasty. She was the great royal wife of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and the mother of Akhenaten, the pharaoh famous for attempting to transform Egypt's religion. Unlike many queens who remained behind the scenes, Tiye played an active role in politics and diplomacy. She was deeply involved in state affairs, advising her husband and representing Egypt in international matters. Correspondences between Tiye and foreign rulers show she was respected as a formidable and intelligent figure. Tiye came from a non-royal background. Her father was a high-ranking official, but her influence elevated her to a status nearly equal to that of the pharaoh. She was often depicted alongside Amenhotep III in statues and reliefs, a testament to her prominence. Queen Tiye's legacy also includes her role as matriarch during the religious upheaval of Akhenaten's reign. She lived through the early years of her son's radical, monotheistic worship of Aten, supporting him while maintaining Egypt's stability. Her name and image were inscribed on temples and monuments, an unusual honor for a queen. Tiye's life challenges assumptions about women's roles in ancient Egypt, highlighting her as a powerful queen who shaped the political and religious landscape of her time. 10th. Yaa Asantewaa, Ashanti Empire, 1840 to 1921. Yaa Asantewaa was a legendary Ashanti queen mother and warrior from present-day Ghana, renowned for leading one of the last great African resistances against British colonial rule. When the British demanded the Golden Stool, the sacred symbol of Ashanti unity and sovereignty, in 1900, the Ashanti king and chiefs hesitated to fight back. It was Yaa Asantewaa who rose as a fierce leader and called her people to arms in what became known as the War of the Golden Stool. As Queen Mother of Edisu, Yaa Asantewaa was a powerful political figure who wielded significant influence over Ashanti affairs. She organized and led the Ashanti warriors against the British forces with remarkable courage and tactical skill. Her leadership inspired thousands, making her a symbol of resistance and female empowerment. Despite facing a technologically superior colonial army, Yaa Asantewaa and her forces fought bravely for months. Eventually, she was captured and exiled to the Seychelles, where she died in 1921. Today, Yaa Asantewaa is celebrated as a national heroine in Ghana and across Africa. Her story embodies courage, resilience, and defiance against oppression. She remains an enduring symbol of African resistance, particularly highlighting the powerful roles women have played in the continent's history of struggle and liberation. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next video. See you on our next one.